right, YouTubers, D-Man2000 here, back to continue our discussion of modes and scales. This is lesson 7. Today we're going to talk about how we can take all the things we've learned in the first 6 lessons and kind of consolidate them and use them in order to improvise melodies and second guitar parts more or less on the fly without the need for a lot of sitting down and working things out in preparation. So in that opening segment there, the way that we've chosen to do that is by using a backing track, and that was a track from YouTube. There's several people making them. That one was made by Elevated Jam Tracks, which I find to be excellent source of tracks. And that one is the Slow Minor Blues in B minor. And I more or less just picked it at random. And what I wanted to illustrate is how we can take all these things that we've learned and, and actually play, so that instead of a lot of rote memorization and practicing, our playing becomes our practicing. And I also want to illustrate how we can introduce modal concepts into our playing as well. So we're not just stuck with, it's a blues track, so we're not just stuck with the blues, we're not just stuck with the minor pentatonic or the natural minor scale or whatever. So I'm going to just play a little bit more of the track, and I'm just going to illustrate some of the things that I did in the opening segment, that hopefully you can see how we're using them to construct a solo on the fly that will work with the chords in the song. So let's start it back up. So the base of our whole strategy is going to be B, because we're using, it's in the key of B minor. So we're going to use our B, which is here, our pentatonic. That's our position 5 box. That's our position 4 box. Okay. Now in addition to that, we have B natural minor. So we can go down here. That's our B note. And that is our B Aeolian group of 4 on the 2 high strings. And of course we have that, back here as well. And then back to our position 5 box. Okay, now what else do we have? Well, it's minor key, and with our modes we have 3 minor modes, 3 major modes, and a diminished mode. So the Dorian and Phrygian are minor modes, as well as the natural minor. So that means that B Aeolian, which we've already looked at here, will work, but in addition, so will B Dorian. So that's a Dorian B group of 4 right there. And in addition, we have another group of 4 up here that we can think of as the top string group of 4 for a B Phrygian. And then, of course, if we go back here, we have another Aeolian, B Aeolian group. Now, so that pretty much covers, what we can do just with our various strategies. So we've got, our position 4 box here, starting on the 5th fret. We've got our position 5 box here with this note being our root, the B, okay? And then we've got some B Dorian, B Phrygian we can throw in there, and of course the B minor or B Aeolian. So the other thing that we can do is feel free to throw the blue notes in there. Now there's one other thing that I think, we talked about the blues scale in previous lessons, but one of the things that we can look at is there's a 4-note per string kind of concept that we can use to play the blues scale. It's very similar to our pentatonic 2/3s, which is this. What we can do there is we can add our 3 notes here, so put our blues note back in. So if we were doing that from the top, and we would start here, sorry. All right, so that gives us a lot of options, and it's not very hard to figure out, because once we know our groups of 4, we know our major root, and we know what key the song is in. And honestly, this song, one of the things that I do like about it is it uses 5 chords from the B minor scale. And so in some ways, it's more complicated, but it also gives you a little bit more options in terms of what you can throw in there that will still work for you. But notice that I'm not really concerned about what the chords are, because as long as I stick to the key and I know that it's a minor key, so I'm using my minor modes, if you will, the Aeolian or minor, natural minor, the Dorian and the Phrygian, then I can't really get in too much trouble. And if I come across something that I don't like, I don't have to use it. I certainly don't have to play all the notes in the groups of 4. We can use it as, so for instance, here with our B natural minor group of 4, starting here. Sometimes I might do a pull off like that, or just use the front end of it, this or however you want to look at that, the front versus the back, but kind of break it up. And I think that is a very useful way to add some tasteful notes that otherwise you might miss. And you'll notice how it all seems to kind of connect in terms of our B box being here. We know we've got the pentatonic position 4 shape in front of it, and then when we get down here to the 12th fret, that is our our B minor, our B Aeolian group of 4. So basically, and we said we have one up here. So that means we've gone from the 0 fret all the way to the 17th fret, basically, and we have notes to choose everywhere. And I think that's incredibly useful. And we're not getting into, we're not talking about modal keys or modal, harmonizing chords modally. We're using major and minor key chords. You can use whatever method you want, the Nashville number method, the Cage system. You can pick out chords at random. It doesn't really matter as long as they're in the key and you know what the key is and you can keep track of the root note. You will be able to successfully improvise over it. And so That's about it for today. I'm trying to keep these lessons short. And so I think next time what we're going to talk about is some additional kind of things to think about when you're using the groups of four that might be useful that we haven't talked about yet. And also maybe we will continue jamming over a couple of other backing tracks and illustrating the various concepts that we've learned so far. And at some point, we haven't talked about the harmonic minor scale. At some point in the future, we'll do a lesson on that. And so that's it for today. Feel free to leave any questions or comments, and we'll see you soon. Peace out.